believe that social media has created a false balance. And when you're getting too much of one thing, that's never a good thing. You don't want to ever get too much of the left and not have any of the right. You don't want to keep on getting too much of the right and not have anything on the left. You're steered too much on the right side and not the left. And you have to remain balanced in life. And that's very important. And that's how we are sometimes when it comes to social media. Consuming a lot of information, consuming a lot of sources. Everybody knows everything today. Everybody with a microphone, everybody with a camera, they know everything. And it's like, when you're too tuned in to other people's doctrine, their own teachings, their own philosophy of life, it's like you start to mimic everything that person represents. You watch them all the time and you listen to them all the time, and it's like you don't never learn to have a mind of your own. You don't learn to have your own, to apply critical thinking to anything. You rely on other people. You rely too much on social media to give you all the answers, all the information. And social media does not have all the answers. And the more you run to these platforms that you think have all the answers, the more you're deceiving yourself. The more you'll lead yourself into confusion of the answers you're really looking for. The direction you need to take with your life. Because not everybody has all the answers. I mean, just because it's the internet, just because it's social media, and we've been programmed to rely on who has all the answers. What sources will lead you in the right direction. And that is true to a certain degree. But there comes a point in time where you need to declutter your brain. Because not all information is good. Not all information is useful to your brain. And I believe social media has created a false balance because you're relying too much on what somebody is saying online, and you're living vicariously through how they think, right? What their philosophy is. But in your own life, your real life, you're tuned out, right? You're tuned out in your own real life. You're not being present in your own life, the life that you're living, the people that's in front of you, And that's why a lot of times your real world is numb, because you've been medicating yourself too much with social media programming. You've been medicating yourself too much with other people's philosophy on life. Medicating yourself with everybody's own perspective. And this is just a video to suggest to take a break from all of that, from all that consumption, to tune back into your real life. Because what everyone's doctrine and what they're teaching on social media, let me just say this. Not all of it is real life. Not all of it is real life. A lot of men are teaching men to not talk to women, okay? And there could be some really good women around where you live at, in your neck of the woods. And for you ladies, that women are telling you not to not to have a relationship with men, not to have a family with them, not to deal with them. Listen, what they're teaching you and what their doctrine is, that's not real life. Not everything they're saying qualifies for real life. It's not applied. And when you keep on tuning in to their doctrine, you tune in to their teaching, you tune into their philosophy, then your life will start to mimic that. How you think and how you feel will mimic how they think and how they feel. And the whole time they have a successful relationship, their life is a lot better than yours, right? They're in a better position, but they're keeping you down at the bottom with their own doctrine. And when you're tuned into that, you know, you believe, you hold on to every word they say, and you hold on to it, you buy it, right? You start to live your life based off what other people, how other people think, and their philosophy and their own perspective. And why? Because you watch them. A part of you kind of looks up to them. You look at them as a source of information. And I'm telling you, not all information is, or knowledge, not all of it is good for you to receive. You got to filter out the bad and receive the good. There's some knowledge that don't need to be there. You know, it was better when we didn't know anything. It was better when we didn't have everything figured out, you know? It was better to just learn from real life experience and not from social media, not from other people's perspective. Not saying that's a bad thing, but once again, it comes back to balance. Are you getting too much of people's information, of people's own knowledge and their philosophy, right? You got to ask yourself that question. Am I getting too much of what this person is laying out on the table? And what am I putting into my own life? What am I adding to my life? What experiences am I having? Or what experiences have I conjured up that I've lived through? You know what I'm saying? What have I done in my own life that I can bring to the table, use as valuable lessons to help other people grow? Because at the end of the day, man, like you live your own life. You don't live other people's life. You don't live other people's experience. You have your own experiences. You have your own journey, okay? And you know what you know. Not everybody knows what you know. So what you know is what you know. You need to stand on what you know and not stand on what everybody else is knowing and what information they have. You can't always stand on that. You're taken away from your own life. And that's why it's important to not absorb everybody's own philosophy. Because what if their philosophy is what deceives you, confuses you, right? It leads you to a place that's dark. You listened to what they had to say the whole time. You took all their advice, you took all their teachings. But what if it was just to deceive you the whole time? What if? That's why it's important to have discernment in this day and age. and to stay sharpened and not absorb what everybody is saying on these platforms. Sometimes it's better to just listen to God's voice, be silent for a period and just listen to his voice. You know, be more tuned in to the knowledge of the Most High more than anything. I mean, that's what we should all be more tuned into. But, you know, social media has programmed us to be more tuned in to what another person is saying about whatever and what they're teaching, to be more tuned in to their philosophy and man's wisdom, man's knowledge. Well, I'm here to tell you that man's wisdom and man's knowledge is not God's knowledge and wisdom.